Hey family, hey family, hey family, hey family. This is Steve Copeland from BMore, Real Team Talk Show. Steve Copeland from BMore's Real Team Talk Show. Bear with me, I'm bringing this a little bit closer to me. Steve Copeland from BMore's Real Team Talk Show. Welcome, 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 welcome. Now, I love this. Y'all know what my topic is, right? My topic is, can unhealthy parents raise healthy children? Can unhealthy parents raise healthy children? That's a question you got to ask yourself. You know that? That's a question. If you are not, and I was just sharing this, if you are not mentally, emotionally capable of dealing with your own personal life, you're not going to be able to help your children. Okay? Mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. That's why I started family, the Teen Talk Show. And I have to run it down a little bit, right? I have to go back to my own life as a child. And I did not know and understand a lot of the personal stuff that I was running from. But as I began to do work on myself when I got clean, I was able to go back and deal with those monsters that I was running away from. Now, mind you, my mother taught me from a very, very early young age that men take care of their responsibilities. Now, mind you, I'm 10 years old. Whatever the heck that meant. But I'm 10 years old. So from an early age, my mother taught me how to cook. She taught me how to clean. Hey, little Steve. She taught me how to sew. Basically, what I had to do, family, as a parent, was make sure I was a better parent to mine than what my father was to me. He wasn't never in my life. He wasn't never part of my life. So I had to make sure that no matter what, I remained a part of my children's lives. No matter what. Even when me and their mother separated from each other, I still had to keep the bond strong with mine. Now, my son just passed through. 9 times out of 10, he down there listening. I'm only giving back to people what I was able to do for myself. So in saying this, right, looking at that unhealthy parent, I had to make sure I stayed well-rounded mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, psychologically, and please don't let me jump on the biblical side. As a religious man whose relationship became personal. Even when I look into Bible, I look into Bible for the morals, the values, the principles, and changing, can I say addictive behavior? Or that unhealthy personality. Oops. That unhealthy personality. I use the spiritual principles contained within the Bible. I don't go in the Bible and point out mistakes to throw at people. I don't do it. You can, but the Bible is written for the individual. So I learned that throughout my 33 years of being, on this journey. When I go in the Bible, that's God's way of telling me how he wants me to live my life. But I have a tendency of wanting to tell people how they need to live their lives, but I'm not practicing what I preach. I did not just say that. I did not just say I'm not practicing what I preach. Well, I'm not talking about me. Because one thing I learned throughout my years, my children just didn't hear what their father said out his mouth. They was also watching, do my actions match what I say out my mouth? If you're telling your children one thing and you're doing the total opposite, you are confusing them, parents. I grew up in that era. You do what I say, not what I do. That wasn't right. Because sometimes what you're doing that's very, very, very unhealthy. I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to say it again. Sometimes what you are doing that's very, very unhealthy looks very, very appealing to our children. They mimic what they see. Oh, I hear you, Mom. Oh, I hear you, Dad. But that's not what you're actually doing. Now, let me go here real quick because I wanted to make it larger, right? For some people that might say, oh, yes, I can. And I am a very, 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 very sick individual. You're only giving back what you already have in you. Okay? I don't want to surprise you, but I'm going to share this with you. Why unhealthy parents struggle to raise healthy children? Why do unhealthy parents struggle to raise unhealthy children? Number one, unresolved past hurts. Number two, poor role modeling. Number three, emotional unavailability. Number four, toxic communication patterns. I'm sorry. Number five, the cycle will continue. Now, I know my wife and I struggle. Two powerful people. Two different personalities. But no matter what, I had to explain to my children, in relationships, we go through challenges, difficulties. We're not going to always agree. That's why it's called you work it out. I had to make it clear to my children that no matter how their mother and their father might have argued or had disagreements about things, daddy loves mommy. Or let me put it now, they grown. Their mother. Even to this day, I make it still clear to my children that daddy loves their mother. It just didn't work. It takes work to work a healthy relationship. And because of our arguing and fussing, I didn't want the children to think that this was a healthy way of being in a relationship or being married. You get it? I'm only saying this, family, because that's the way I started seeing things. My goal was to hang in there no matter what, because I didn't want to be without my children. But sometimes that's some selfish and self-centered stuff. Because the pain and misery that the couples are bringing to their lives, we're pushing it towards them, whether we like it or not. They watching us. That's why I always tell my kids still, daddy, love your mother. Well, let me change that word daddy, because my daughter remind me they're not babies no more. Your father loves your mother. Your father is still in love with your mother. But the thing is, it didn't work. Now, that's the healthy way of helping your children to understand certain things about life and about relationships or marriage. Why lie to them? Anytime. Say like, if my ex-wife need to call me, any one of them, about anything, basically it's going to be around our adult children. Okay? We ain't going to argue, yeah, you make me sick. Remember back then, blah, blah, blah. Nope. Y'all can. What's going on? What's happening? All right, what we going to do? One thing I know, if my ex, any one of them call me, it's normally in relation to our children. So what I'm going to get mad for? What I'm going to get upset for? That means there's some work between us two have to be done. That's what you consider as healthy parents. Resolving unhealthy issues. You get it? If you are full of toxic, if you are full of mayhem, my thing is, and I share it a lot, right? I am a loving, caring, kind, considerate man. I'm a warm, sensitive man. That's just part of my character. It's part of my makeup. But I can be an evil, nasty dude as well. I'm still the same human being. It's just that I have a good side of me and I have a bad side of me. I have good qualities. I already know that. And I have a side that wants to show his butt. But now that's the side I try not to let show up as much. You get me? So when you look at a human being, period, right? And you see all his good qualities or hers, understand sooner or later that other side going to show up. It's the same person. It's just sometimes that fool will show up to show off. And then it takes this mature adult to tell that fool, stop it. I'm talking to myself. My children are watching me. My grandkids are watching granddad. My nieces and nephews that I raised is watching their uncle. Sometimes you can say to them, when you live in a good, healthy life, you can say to yours, do I act like that? Do I do that? Sometimes that's all you gotta say. Because they watching. And they be like, oops. Now this is for the healthy parents. And when I say healthy parents, I'm talking about mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. That's why y'all hear me share about my 12-step program. My 12-step spiritual program. That's why when y'all hear me say, I got ordained deacon in 2009. So if I said I got ordained deacon, then that means I know a little something about scripture and how I need to live my life accordingly, right? Because number one, before any position, a deacon, an elder, a pastor, a minister, an evangelist, you have to be taught what that position is all about to be able to walk in your calling. And if you notice, I said walk in your calling. I did not say walk in your perfection, did I? Because no matter, right, as a human being or as parents, no matter how good I want to do, and I know it's in me, sometimes I find myself doing what's not right. Whenever parents, you find yourself practicing old behaviors, that's when you gotta flip it again. See, being 64, right, and being on this spiritual path, whenever I find myself practicing old behaviors, I know I'm slipping back. Did you hear the word I just said? I am slipping back into old behaviors and old practices. Once I recognize and realize that I'm practicing certain unhealthy behaviors, the same way years ago, I surrendered to the smugs and the alcohol, to that lifestyle. Now, whatever destructive behaviors that I'm practicing, I got to surrender. I got to start that process all over again. Admitting my powerlessness. And as a result, my life is becoming unmanageable. You must didn't read my message, Sam, that I put out about the old headquarters. If they willing to open it back up, I have no problem going over there to run it because of what I do. As a human rights advocate, Sam, I am considered as a civil rights advocate as well. With Communities United of Baltimore, Maryland, we fight for the democracy. All right, I see what you just put, Sam. The reason why I'm saying this, Sam, because when I was with Communities United, and Communities United is the Baltimore branch of the Center for Popular Democracy. But here in Baltimore City, Communities United was designed to fight for the democracy of the Black people in the poor communities. So I call them the baby branch of the NAACP. When Freddie Gray was unalive, they should have been on it. When Tyree was unalive by their police, the NAA should have been on it. Or I can go on. I can go on. The NAACP should have been in on a lot of stuff that happened within the Black community. Because of their rights being violated. I spoke out on a lot of that stuff, Sam. With the organizations that I was with. Communities United. I was a board member for almost 2 years. Our director was a YT. She eventually left. I wouldn't have mind stepping in and becoming the director. But keep in mind, Sam, a lot of paid directors, organizers had to go accordingly to the bylaws. So be honest, what I'm trying to get to, Sam, a lot of them will sell us out. That's my biggest fight and my biggest argument with us. I'm not a paid organizer, Sam. Because I'm not a paid organizer, I can say stuff that a lot of paid ones cannot do. They have to follow their script. I don't follow a particular script. So I made a statement when the guy, when the newsman was talking about it. Because to be honest with you, I would have loved to step in. I made a statement to the news people about that, saying what you just said. So, and saying that, family, and Sam, all right, where did Freddie, did they open up another facility somewhere, Sam? Because I'm trying to think of the guy's name, that they end up letting go with the gray hair. But now keep in mind, Doc Chisholm Doc Chisholm was a part of the NAACP too. Right, right, right. Well, Sam, I'm gonna be honest with you, Sam, and I know you probably already know. You know what happened to me 3 years ago with them police coming together, pulling up some fake charges against me, right? That's why I don't want to be on the front line again. But I don't have a problem speaking like this. And I don't have a problem saying if we have to go out into certain areas, to do a rally, to do protests and stuff like that. Yes, I'll be there. I'll be there. Now I might speak out on certain things, saying, but I'd rather for somebody who carry a voice like mine, but more eloquent with it. I'd rather for them to speak out because I can go. I can go. And I just want to say this, family, please keep in mind, I do not care about your position. My concern is the human being. All right, Sam. I'm gonna look him up. Cause Dr. Chisholm had reached out to me, and him and I was doing some work together some years ago. And not only that, I'm gonna tell you another hardcore civil rights individual, Pastor Hathaway. Pastor Hathaway in Baltimore City. I'm gonna tell you another great man, Colonel Melvin Russell. You know Colonel Melvin Russell? Now, everything Sam is saying, family, I'm gonna try to tie it in to be more to talk. I reached out to Colonel Melvin Russell because I'm in the community and I needed some people to watch our back as we go out and talk to our young men. Because there's a good chance somebody will run home, get the pew-pew, and come back and pew-pew us. So I ran that across Melvin Russell, Colonel Melvin Russell. Now, mind you, this was years ago. Doc Chisholm, thank you. There you go. There you go. Sam. Sam said, I know what you mean. It's about the people. And Freddie and Doc Chisholm, he know what I'm talking about. Doc Chisholm and all of us met at TGI Fridays up on Dorman. Now, this was some years ago. The goal was, at that time, Sam, I'm going to say this again, Baltimore City. Y'all got to please catch where I'm coming from. The reason why we fought to get the spy plane over Baltimore City, our people was set up to take each other out. That's why when y'all hear me talk about black on black genocide, that's why the pew-pews and everything was being poured more into the community with the Finney and all of that. That's how I met Doc Chisholm. And there's a couple of more of them. Doc Chisholm was with the NAACP. I'm with Communities United of Baltimore, Maryland, fighting for the democracy of the black, population. All right? My mouth. like Sam saying, my mouth is my biggest weapon towards corruption, fighting against the system, against the systematic system. So when y'all hear Big Unc talk about post-traumatic slave syndrome by Joy, I had to get a better understanding of what's going on with us, what's happening to us, and the setup. Sam, you started something, my Christian brother, my spiritual inspiration. You just started my mouth. So, in saying this, family, I started speaking out against a lot of the corruption that I begin to see. Whenever I was called to speak, Sam, they would give me something to read off. I said, I'm not going to follow it. I'll start out talking the way your script says, but understand, Sam, when you come from the streets, who better know how to help a criminal than the ex-criminal? And I'm talking about coming up out of it. Who better understand the criminal mind than the criminal? And if you never lived that lifestyle of being a lying, no good, corrupt son of a sea biscuit, right? You'll never understand it. That's why you'll go, why they doing this? Why they doing that? See, I don't have to say why, because I understand why. It's what we can do to slow it down. Some things we can stop. That's why they don't like me, Sam, when I come. Watch this, Sam. Watch this, Sam. Anytime. Look what I just pulled up. You see this? I don't play. Anytime I come to a town hall meeting, see this? I come with this blue folder. Anytime, Sam, I come to a town hall meeting in Baltimore, City Hall, Annapolis, even if we go to DC, I come with the solution. This is what we can do to slow this down. This is what we can do to put a stop to that. This is what we can do. And know what? I realize your politicians don't want to hear it. Ask Brandon Scott about Uncle Steve and the blue folder. Now, this what I started respecting, Sam. They are politicians. Your House of Delegates, your council members, your mayor. I'm trying to think the Assembly Party. I'm trying to go up the line with it, family. Watch how I go. Because if you don't really understand politics, you can run off at your mouth. But understand this, Trump do not make no policies. That's Congress. Trump either going to agree with it or he's going to veto it. Your Democrats and your Republicans, they are human beings. Some of them believe in the same things and some of them don't. When it comes to voting, you get it? We're talking about the human beings. And this is what I begin to understand too, Sam. They only policymakers. People like us. Look at me, please. we come with the solutions to whatever bills they create. Y'all know that hit me one day. I said, oh my God. The laws is to protect us. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, Sam, and I realize this. People like Brandon Scott, he has our best interests. Governor Hogan, I say Governor Hogan, Westmore, he has our best interests. But we got to understand, it's a team of them that works together. They can only do what they can. You know that hit me one day, Sam. The system won't change until we use our mouth to speak. Go out and vote. Learn what needs to be known so we can stop scratching our heads and buying Vaseline. Now, Sam, I'm going to say this, bro. You're perfectly correct. But I'm going to share this with y'all again. You know what I do? I wait for whatever laws get in, well, the bill that get passed, right? Once I'm aware of that bill that they pass, you got to come up with ways and means, and I'm talking about solutions for the people to live accordingly. You get it? If you break the law, you go into prison. If they create laws that people don't understand and not living accordingly, we got to create programs to help them be obedient to the laws that they create. Y'all didn't get lost with my words, did you? Because I didn't understand this. But as a grassroots organization, as a person that has an LLC, look at the problems. Look at the issues, Sam, that most of our inner city communities are having. Food deserts. I'm a homeless advocate. My buddy Marlo, it's a lot of them out there. Give out food. I can go pick up donations to give out those foods. Clothing, furniture, all of that. Now, Sam, you got me going here, bro. And you bet not went nowhere. Jesus Christ came into this world to redeem the lost generation of people, right? I'm not talking about Moses. I'm not talking about David. I'm not talking about Isaiah. I'm not talking about Jeremiah. I'm talking about Jesus Christ. I'm not talking about Matthews. I'm not talking about Mark, Luke, John, all of them, even though they walk with Christ. The ones that walk with him, let me put it like that. The same way, Sam, Jesus told them, he said, come, follow me, Steve Copeland. I'm going to make you a fisher of men, women, and children. That's not what the Bible said. I know what the Bible said, but I'm telling you what he got me doing. Giving out food, giving out clothing. When you got homeless people sleeping under bridges, sleeping in encampments, sleeping behind wooded areas, you reach out to them, the ones that want the help, because a lot of them don't want the help. And you find them permanent housing. That's what a deacon job is. And that's right, Sam. Sam said, I say to the people listening, come to hear. Let us teach you and show what needs to be done. Sam is with Dante Hickman. Dante Hickman was, if I'm not mistaken, ask your pastor. He come from under Bishop Jerome Stokes. I remember the Slim. Look, Sam, I'm trying to make sure I ain't getting them mixed up with Walter, right? I remember the Slim, Dante Hickman. Wait a minute, Sam, you with Dante Hickman, right? Let me be sure. Because I know he with one of them influences. Like Dante Hickman. Like Reed. I'm trying to think of the pastor name over in Empowerment Temple. These are the type of pastors my pastor deal with, bishops. Showell. Now I'm telling you, when it comes to the religious sector, I know a lot. I know a lot, because that's my arena. When it comes to the religious side of things, church-wise, right? Church-wise. Come on. Only been under 2 pastors in my life. Out the 33 years I've been clean. Pastor Johnson up at Brown's Memorial. I stayed there for 5 years. And I've been under Bishop Jerome Stokes for the past 25 years. Bishop teach scripture. Bishop teach Bible. Bishop Showell. I mean, not Bishop Showell, I'm thinking Nelson. A lot of our musicians. Sam. A lot of our musicians. CeCe Winan. Marvin Sapp. My boy, Fred Hammond. I got more of Fred Hammond's albums, right? And Marvin Sapp of any other people I listen to. I'm telling y'all, when it comes to our journey, Sam, Faith, when it comes to our journey, when it comes to our calling, when it comes to our mission, me running off at my mouth, family, this is the way I get the message out, not just to Baltimore City. I'm not just streaming to Baltimore City, I'm streaming around the world. I'm streaming on YouTube. I'm streaming on 3 of my Facebook pages. I'm streaming to Twitter, which is Twitch, which is X, right? I was streaming on that before they turned to X. And Twitter. Wait a minute. The 3 T's. Twitter, Twitch, TikTok. And now, LinkedIn. I just added LinkedIn. So all together, I'm streaming to 9 platforms. This is ministry, family. It's educational purposes only as well. Information purposes. I do research too, family. What Sam is talking about, right? Before I opened up my mouth, Bishops is transforming the community into the body of Christ. He is transforming East Baltimore back into community of growth. And he's not lying. Let me share this with you, Sam. At the same time, when they started blessing Dante Hickman with funding to rebuild back up East Baltimore, this man doing an amazing job. That's not the only spot. He opened up a church at Park Heights. That's not the only spot. If I'm not mistaken, Sam, I think he have about 5 locations. Am I lying, Sam? And I found this out too some years ago, Sam. Westmore is at Dante Hickman's church. I was told by one of the security men of Dante Hickman Church, said, come and talk to Westmore. He said he's a great guy. I know he is, fam. You know why? I went down Chester Street to meet him. I got a phone call. He was down Chester Street. So I went to meet him, Sam. He wasn't there. He was in Annapolis, but his wife was there. Then let me share this with y'all, how I work with people. I got to get next to you because my goal is to attach to your spirit to see if you're about it. He was not there, but I connected with his wife and her team. And I felt the spirit of love in her, how she embraced the community as well. And guess what I said to myself? The apple don't fall too far from the tree, because she's representing her husband spiritually. And I felt that. I said, okay, the reason why I'm making this statement, he's for the people. Am I lying, Sam? He's for the people. But keep in mind, family, they can only do what they can because all of them have a team, right, of advisors that work with them too. So they're not the only one that making certain decisions back towards the community. Know how I know that? Because I helped Kim Klacik when she was running for governor. When she was running for Congress. The moment I seen Kwaisi, I knew what time it was. Once I seen Kwaisi, I said, uh-oh, because sometimes they put in whoever they want. Now, Kwaisi, y'all got to understand, been in politics for the longest time. I remember Kwaisi when I was a little boy with Pryor J. Mitchell. Y'all don't hear Pryor J. Mitchell name too much no more, do you? I was about 10 years old, Pryor J. Mitchell. And I remember Kwaisi around during them times. Because when I seen Kwaisi one day, Sam, I said, come here. I said, now, I know you're older than me. I know you're in the 70s, right? Because I'm 64. But guess what I asked him, Sam? I said, what dye do you use? Because you still look young. He must out laughing. Because I was using Beijing, 47, I think, dark brown. And when I seen him, I said, man, what type of, because I know you older than me, but you still look young. Now, remember what I said. I do not care about your position. I want to get to know the individual. And you know what we do? All right. I just want to make sure I'm on the right path, I'm saying. That's all. Thanks, bro. So I'm only saying this, family, because a lot of us, and I was doing the same things. I was coming real hard for our council members, the mayor, everything that was going on in the city. I'm blaming our politicians. Then I'm blaming the police too, right? But then I started realizing this, Sam, just what Sam is saying. It's us. They can only do what they can. They can't be everywhere at one time. You get it? Even if, say, like on Pennsylvania North, y'all know that strip right there. Matter of fact, right there, they got cameras looking at them. But the goal is they set it up for them to do it in that area. They're monitoring them and their behaviors. When I come up Pennsylvania North, they know this guy right here is different compared to the rest. The police, I don't know if they still sit at the library because I haven't been down there in a few months now. At the meeting, because I normally go to the meeting. That's my home group. Then I go right up on the corner. People be like, oh my God, you sitting right there, you this and that. Yes, I grew up in this. It feel like home. It do. Just like if I was down there and they be pew-pewing, I'd be like, wait a minute, what's going on? Why y'all? To me, right, I ain't gonna run, I might duck. All right, now, I ain't got nothing to do with what's going on. Don't come my way with that bull junk. And see, that's my way, right? I'll say little crazy stuff to back them up. And then I'll say stuff like this, nephew, why y'all coming at me like that? Look at my face. Because sometimes you got to make them feel like they family. Oh, well, I ain't gonna mess with such and such and such. Now, you heard me say sometimes, I thank God he have not allowed nobody to come for me like that. I might not back down too easy. Not being smart. I come from the streets. I'm the one that put the package out. My family, right in that area. I grew up from Linden Avenue and White Lock, over to Rosedale and North Avenue, up Park Heights. I grew up there in the 60s. That's home. That's why, wait a minute, I'm on my live. That's why the goal is a new, what Sam is talking about, a new BMore City. But let me finish this, Sam. The same time they gave Westmore money, funding to build back up in East Baltimore, and Westmore is kicking butt. I'm sorry, I said Westmore. Shoot. Dante Hickman is kicking butt. And what I mean, he's doing an excellent job with the elders. Now they opening up a big community center and all that. He's developing some amazing stuff in Baltimore City. But what I was trying to say this right here, Sam, Pastor Hathaway, Governor Hogan and them was supposed to gave him $600 million to rebuild back over the McCullough homes and the unemployment building, tear it down and rebuild it. Now, I don't know what happened through that process, but Pastor Hathaway is restoring a lot of the historical buildings over West, right? So I talked to him some years ago, Sam, because my goal is to start rehabbing and revitalizing houses too for inner city people. That's how I started reaching out, or that's why I started reaching out to Pastor Hathaway. So I don't know what happened, Sam, but during that time, Dante came. They blessed Dante, and whatever happened with Hathaway, where it didn't go through, but he owns a construction company himself, a development company. So his goal was to actually rebuild all of that and make affordable houses. This was during the time when, back in the years, like 2017 and all that. Y'all don't know, I've been doing this thing for a long time. Dealing with some great people in Baltimore City. Now, Sam, Baltimore City, I changed my time. My time was from 6 to 8. Now to 6 to 7. And I'm going to get ready to end this in a few more minutes. This is BMore, Real Teen Talk Show. And Sam, I just want to say this to you, bro. Everything family that God laid on my spirit is to help rebuild back up in the Black community. Okay? That's why I opened up the house, the Latanya D. Copeland House of Hope. What Sam is saying, family, we have to, hey, Pastor, we have to meet people. No. Let me hurry up and try to put it. Post-traumatic slavery syndrome. The goal is to break that cycle, right? Mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. We got to break it. But the people got to want to change. If you stuck in certain ways of life, our goal is to encourage you, to empower you, to motivate you, to put in positive energy in your life. Then if you hear what I'm saying, I'm basically talking scripture. I'm not quoting scripture, but it's breaking it down into plain, simple form. That's what the spiritual side of this thing is about. Breaking it down to plain, simple English that a 5-year-old can understand what's coming out of my mouth. If you're trying to figure me out, you in your mind, you're not going to get it. You got to listen to me with your heart, your spirit. Now, because Sam, let me read what you just put in there too. Penn North will not change. Till we come together and take the corners back. Sam, you gonna get me talking too goddamn much. When that stuff was poured over off of Pennsylvania North, I said, you mother suckers. They got $460 million to treat the Finney addiction. Thank God didn't nobody lose their lives. And we fought back in the days, Sam, to get safe consumption sites in Baltimore City. I did not know, and Sam, I got one more minute. I did not know that the fentanyl was killing, taking a lot of our younger people out too. I said, what in the world? Through the vape and all of that. Sam, I just want to say this, bro. I love you. I'm trying to stick to my start time and my end time. Sam, I got to get you. I'm tired of you. I got to get you up here. I got to get you up here, Sam. I got to make sure, look, I got to fix it when once you come up, right? Because I want to make you like a co-host. So once you come up, we'll be able to, hey, family, we'll be able to continue talking on topics like this. But that's the whole goal, Sam, to help gain control back over the corners. I already know, Sam, we'll never stop it, but I believe we can slow it down. I gotta go, Sam. I don't want to go, but I gotta go. I'm trying to stick to my time, bro. But yes, Sam, we gotta talk. I've been reaching out to LinkedIn, and I know y'all hear me because I'm streaming over there now. It's a lot of professionals on LinkedIn, and a lot of y'all connects with me. So now you're gonna be able to really listen to me. Don't get scared of me. That's just my compassion, my seriousness. LinkedIn family, I need y'all. I've been asking y'all for the longest time to come over. So I know y'all looking at me. I know a lot of y'all are business people from around the world. Now I'm streaming live. So I just want to say this. I love y'all. It's 7 o'clock. BMore Real Team Talk Show. Now I need the parents to be honest with yourself. As an unhealthy parent, can you raise healthy children? When I say I'm a loving, caring, kind, considerate person, that's because that's in my spirit. When I say I'm warm, sensitive, and compassionate, that's because that's in my spirit. Because I know how to love. That's all I do, is try to give it back. But everybody don't deserve your love. And if a person never been loved, will know what being loved or being affectionate and stuff like that, if they don't know, they will take it as an insult. I get it a lot. That's why I'm a hugger, because I want you to feel the spirit. I love y'all, Baltimore City. YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, X, because I keep wanting to say Twitch. Wait a minute, Twitter. Well, forget it. The 3 T's. TikTok, Twitter, Twitch. Twitter is now X, but I keep calling it Twitter. And a lot of our politicians and stuff over there, lawmakers and all that. So when you into community work, Sam, you know what? Be honest. I gotta send you the thing, but I have to find a way to. Once I do, and you request up and everything, I gotta know how to bring you in. So I'm reading up more on that because I do want people like you that I know heart is for the community. And that's not being smart to nobody. If you not about the work of Jesus Christ, I don't care to be bothered with you. Because see, what we have a tendency of doing, we talk a good game. You get me? We talk good. Y'all have great information, knowledge, stuff like that. Great information. Sometimes I get jealous of y'all because look, y'all got photographic memory. I got to think sometimes, like, God dang it. But no, that's healthy. Don't get it wrong. That's healthy. But what are you doing with that information? That's the flip side. Why have all of this great information, but you don't create solutions? You already know what's happening. You already know what's going on. You already know it. But you're not in the community-wise, right? In those areas where the people that need our help the most, like your marginalized communities. People that's homeless, living from place to place and place. Women and children, veterans. What in your area What have you created to slow a lot of it down? You can talk all you want. I hear it. But then I'm going to say, well, what is you doing over in D.C. to kind of slow a lot of this down? Well, I know. But what is you doing in Chicago to slow a lot of this down? Well, what organizations you working with? I'm a bad man. I said I was only coming on from 6 to 7 now. And stick to my time. I'm gonna blame it on Sam. God said a good man falls 7 times. What make him good is that he gets back up. Stop it, Sam. Look, we fall down, but we get up. We fall down, but we get up. Let me share this with y'all. Because look at David. Look at David and Sam. When I got ordained deacon, and I am going to leave your butt, Sam. I am going to leave you. And don't make no statement about my goddamn shorts no more. I meant to respond to you. Said, I seen what you said, Sam. And those shorts fit very well, Sam. Okay. I read your message. I said, wait, get your butt. But I took them off though, Sam. But look, before I get lost, Sam, David's story, Sam, reminds me a lot of my story when I stepped outside my marriages, right? And I was guided to David's story. Remember what I said? I was guided. But I'm going to tell y'all, I was guided by the Holy Spirit. The same way God told David. See, this is the part y'all don't like to look at. David was married, and it mentions some of the women that he was married to. David had women on the side. I was married. I had women on the side. It was some poor information that was fed to me. Some poor rat that had one hole to run in and out of. So I had a wife at home. I had a friend down the street, 3 blocks, about 5 blocks away from my regular house. I was paying for 2 houses. Okay? So when God guided me to David, when God told David, no matter how you stumble and fall, I'm going to repeat that again. When God told David, no matter how you stumble and fall, Steve Copeland, you're a man after my own heart. The goal was to get back up. By this time, I'm an ordained deacon. I can't speak for everybody else, but when you fall short in your calling, the first thing you want to do is back up. But I knew no matter what, I had to get up and keep moving in the ministry. So when you read Bible, read it right. Get a better understanding. Your story is there. The same way when I did my Ancestry.com, I went back to the 1600s with my family. From there, I jumped to Jeremiah. I didn't do it. God did it. The same way God told Jeremiah in a dream, I knew you. Didn't he tell Jeremiah that, Sam? He said, I knew you, Steve Copeland, before the foundation of this world. I was like, huh? He said, yeah, I put everything in you too, Mr. Copeland, that I called you to go out and do. What am I doing? I'm on BMore Teen Talk Show. Saturday, July the 18th, 7:09. Being a messenger. My life was preordained before I came here. So a lot of y'all want to read scripture, you want to quote scripture, you want to point it at somebody else, but that's God's way of dealing with you. That's God's way of talking to you. So it's not just his way of talking to me. I am actively doing what a lot of them did. When they stumbled and fell, they kept moving. It was the Holy Spirit that guided them. It was the Holy Spirit that empowered them to share about their downfalls and how they was able to overcome it by continue moving. That's why when y'all hear me say stuff like this, when I share about my story with the grass, with the Thunderbird at 13, it was a whole Tupperware cup like this. That's coffee. 13, 14, 15. Can you pew-pew this? I asked my cousin and she said, yeah. Boom. What a 15-year-old going around putting stuff like this in their bodies. Poison. That's why I talk the way I talk. I was taught. You share a little bit about what it was, how it was, then you go into a recovery process. So I just want to say this. You don't have to quote scripture to me. Scripture come to life for me. Get an understanding. Whenever I deal with people when it comes to their mental health, their spiritual conditioning, some people you can talk Bible to. Some people you have to come in plain English, layman terms. My pastor taught me that. He said, sometimes, Steve, guess what? I'm in the community. I got 33 years. I'm sitting down with a still practicing addict. And when I tell them I used to do this and do that, and they'll look at me and say, you don't look like you did stuff like this. If they sitting on a curve, I will sit right beside them. I'm no different. That's why a lot of them can relate to people like me. I was once lost. Now I'm found. I was once blind, but now I see. I remember God stopping me on my road, saying, of destruction. Didn't he stop Saul on his road to Damascus? Didn't he blind him? He laid him down, we can say that, for 3 days. And when he opened back up his eyes, his mind, not just his eyes, not just his eyes, his mind, he seen, God dang it, what I was doing was wrong. Because I said it. I didn't realize a day at a time I was putting that poison in the community. That's why I can relate to Saul's story. And not only that, Sam, he started living the righteous way of life. When I say righteous, I'm talking about the right way. When he made the statement out his mouth, it's the good in me. I'm talking about Paul. It's the good in me that I ought to do. But it's the evil in me I find myself doing. I said, oh my God. He struggled on his journey. I want to say perfection, right? No matter how I'm trying to do the right things in my life, Sam, I find myself doing the wrong stuff And if you don't get it for your life, you don't understand Bible. Because look, when he said that, I was like, oh my God. Look at my face. I said, he struggled. But no matter what, he kept moving. That's why when y'all see somebody like a Jamal Bryant, no matter how he stumble and fall, he keep moving. Now, I can't speak on TD Jakes because I don't know if some of that stuff true or not. But the thing is, did he turn his back on the ministry? That's what y'all fail to see. And I told somebody one day, I said, because the reason why I never stopped doing what I was doing after I've been called to be an ordained deacon, because no matter how I stumble and fall, I got to get up. It's not about me. Now, the goal is now, at 64 years old, not to do a lot of the stuff I used to do. You get me? That's why Paul, man, I'm telling y'all, Paul had street experience. Then he walking on his spiritual journey. When Paul talked about this thorn in his side, the thorn that pierced his side, he was talking about the pain. Anytime something pierces your skin or your flesh, it hurts. You get it? I am. I didn't realize. When I heard him say, I'm like, ah, because I realized you walking on the straight and narrow, right? But you might find yourself going here. That bull junk hurt. And then you got to run back over here. That's what I realized. That's why when I look at my past, right? My past is the only thing I have for me to continue moving forward. If I find myself practicing old behaviors, I'm stuck. So I got to stop. I got to gain control back over my life as far as in the more righteous way. I don't know about y'all. I can only look at Steve, y'all. When I pray and I be like, God, decrease me and increase you. When I open up my mouth, right? You know what God be saying to me, family? Steve, who can better speak for me than you about your story? So when y'all listen to a big mouth dude like me, don't take it personal. Because I can talk about everybody else. But to me, that's not helpful. So if I have experienced certain things, right? I share it with y'all. And then now, mind y'all, the stuff I be talking about took place like years and years and years ago. It's not now. So I learned from it. And I'm not practicing those behaviors just for the day. Okay. And that's the part of the recovery process. Now, Sam, I got a page, Sam, and I want to invite you to it. It's called A New BMore City. Okay. Rebuilding our communities. What Sam is talking about. I created that page, Sam, for the 343 unalives that we had in 2017. So I met a lot of those parents during that time. Right? It's a page at that time where if they was going through a grieving page, where we would comfort each other and everything. But it's other people that's running the page. The page is a good page because I created several pages, 2 spiritual pages and all that too. that I wanted us to talk about. Everything I do is all about embracing people, empowering people, inspiring people. And if y'all hear me come hard, that's that disciplinary in me. Okay? Sometimes we can sit back. You can be real humble, gentle, and kind. That's your way of doing things. Sometimes uncle show up. Sometimes dad will show up. Sometimes pop will show up when you're dealing with people in general. If you step in as a professional, and if they don't feel your seriousness or that passion, try to catch what I'm saying. Because this is something I had to run by Brandon Scott and them. Get to the root cause of why our children acting the way they are. Get to the root cause of why we got people that's running around toe up like they zombies. You got to get with them, get them off it, then take them in to find out why they reached out for this stuff to sedate their feelings and emotions. And 9 times out of 10, it come from childhood. Now, I'm going to say this to the clinical professionals. I'm not a licensed clinical professional. Okay? That's your job. My job is to prepare them before they get to you, to be honest with themselves, to have faith back in themselves, to trust back in themselves, so that when they do sit down and talk with you, the goal is for them to be honest and straightforward with you. That's what I do from a spiritual perspective. But when it comes to the clinical side, when it comes to the ones that I'm going to say this, God dang it, because this is my business. When it comes to the one with psychological issues, like bipolar, schizophrenic, all of that y'all will label them, right? And they might need meds. Then we're going to point them in the direction of the psychiatrist. But for the most part, as a PRP, as a therapist, as a counselor, you have a job to do. But keep in mind, if I'm sending you to clients, that means they are in my housing program. So I see the real individual. And that's why I want that individual to be real with you. See the difference in the work we do? The same way with me. If I feel as though I need to go talk to a therapist, if I go to a psychiatrist, that means that I need some goddamn meds. Okay. And I'm doing this to be sarcastic, family. But I already know. And a lot of y'all therapists, counselors, all let y'all know. All of you professionals know, because I have the working knowledge of the 12 steps. Normally, I do the work on myself. But I need y'all to, because it's times, right? Look, it's funny, right? But look, it's times I might have to talk to a therapist to make sure I'm still on track. I'll be like, you need to sit on the couch and listen to me, because by the time I finish with you, you're going to be like, oh, shoot, I need some medicine now, Steve. But I know how important it is. I do. Because, see, sometimes I can't see me, family. Get it? I can't see me. So it's times where, yes, even with my years, clean, spiritual journey, I have to talk to a therapist. I have to talk to a counselor. I have to talk to a pastor. I had to talk with Sam because I'm doing this. I'm trying to stay on that straight and narrow. You get me? But it's times where, it's like, okay, I'm gonna try this a little bit just to run back. So the goal and the statement I'm trying to make, family, sometimes I might have to reach out for guidance as well. I think I'm doing a great job. I think I'm excellent, but I can fall short too. I'm human. Thanks, Sam. Thanks, family. Sam pulled me in a little bit more, half an hour in. I appreciate you, bro. I got to get on this, Sam. I got to get on this where I can send you the invite. I'm gonna put you in as a team, right, Sam? But whoever I put in on my StreamYard, right? I'm telling y'all now, I want us to share about solutions. Okay? That's the whole point. And everything Sam mentioned right here, right, is where my heart is at when it comes to our people. Penn North will not change till we come together and take the corners back. Okay? The state mental health building is starting to move out and relocate. See, God is doing some mighty things in the behind scenes. Now, I want to say this, Sam. Penn North, I know a lot of them. I know a lot of them even when they first came into recovery. Bill and all of them. Bill running it now. Bernard and all of them that's in that program, I know from recovery. Charles Carver, I apologize. I forget to mention your name. Now, Charles have a recovery program. My housing program, the transitional part came from that idea with Charles Carver. Because I work with mainly independent people. So you got to be working, you got to have some type of income to come into the temporary housing program. Charles Carver, I grew up in this process with. My man, come on, don't do this. He passed. He passed. But he has a housing program as well. I think his wife running that one now. I'm trying to get his name, Jerome. I know a lot of people saying with programs, but look, check this out. And what Sam is saying, a lot of this stuff, I don't think it'll ever stop, but I think we can slow it down. The thing with hustling, if you have a particular corner that you're doing your thing on and they tend to close it down, you'll take it to the next one or the next one or the next one. That's what they do because that's what we used to do. You can stop us here, but we'll go somewhere else. In order for you to completely stop stuff like this in a certain area, you got to reach the one that's putting it out. He's not out on the streets. I wasn't on the streets. I will pop up from time to time. That's why anybody that I sit down with when it comes to the recovery process, You got to understand, you're looking at a man that lived a certain way. So I can talk about this. And as a community organizer, I can tell you how we can gain back control over the community. Did you miss that word I said? Community organizer. We come into your community. First thing I'm going to do with the team, who is the president of your neighborhood association? You got to get with them. Most of the people that's in that community live in that community that's at those meetings. It's their children, nieces, nephews, grandkids that's out there tearing their own community apart. If they don't know how to gain control back over them, it's okay to ask for help. That's where organizations like Communities United, the ACLU, that's where we come in to help strengthen you, to empower you. Now, the goal with that too, we get the parents in. We try to encourage the parents, because I'm gonna tell the young men on the corners, we need y'all to come in. Because guess what? If they out there hustling 9 times out of 10, they feel like they can't make no decent money. You got to let them know, yes, you can. But you got to point them in the direction of the places where they can go. I'm not confusing y'all, Emma. So coming into your community, coming to the community meetings, talking to the people in the community is to encourage them. Because we all got to learn to come together. I've been good, James. How you doing? You get what I'm saying, family? And the only reason why I could share this, y'all, because I was a part of the destruction in the community. We didn't allow just anybody to come in our own community and tear it apart. It was us. And then on top of that, because I was doing it too, we point the fingers at the council members. We point the fingers at the mayor. We point the finger at the governor. We point the fingers at Congress. We point the fingers at the president. But they not in the community doing it. It's ours, people. You know all that hit me later? It's us to turn about. It hit me. The police can't be everywhere. Then you got nonprofits in the community, right? Their goal is to, preventive maintenance. When you have a nonprofit, you telling basically the community or the state and the government, this is what I'm planning on doing in that community to help build a better community. Those are your grassroots organizations, businesses. You create solutions. I'm not losing nobody, am I? I hope not. To be honest with y'all, I want a school. If I can get a school up top, I would do my housing program. Downstairs would be basically like apprenticeship programs, educational programs, community stuff, music, art, theater, dance, and stuff like that. But now I would have to get volunteers to come in, that professionals that can teach. And it's a lot of people that don't have a problem with volunteering their services. I already know that. So I want a school. But my main purpose, family, is women and children. To help that woman that don't have that man to help her with her kids. Now, she get a certain amount a month, right? The goal is to get her into apprenticeship program. Say like she say, well, I want to go to nursing school, or I want to be a CNA, or do cosmetology. You get them into those programs. Same way with our young men. When I talk to them, or I want to get into truck driving, or I want to get into HVAC, you point them in the direction. I want to get my high school diploma. You have to point them in the direction. That's what strengthened the community and the Latanya D. Copeland House is all about. Building back up in the community. Sam, thanks, bro. James, thanks. But I want to say this, James. I know you normally come in around this time, James. I switched my time up. But so happened, Sam kept posting stuff that's up my alley when it comes to us fighting for Baltimore City. And I'm trying to be careful, family. See, a lot of y'all don't know. 3 years ago, when them two officers set me up, and I stayed over the prison for 11 months off some fake charges and all that stuff, 13 months on home monitor. That was like 2 years in prison for something I didn't do. 3 years on parole and probation for something I didn't do. I'm like, what the freak? So look, that's why I became a part of the Innocent Project. Yep. Because guess what? Out of everything that happened to me, James, the judge don't know if it's true. The prosecutor don't know if it's true. The only two people that really know if it's true, me and that police officer. And he lied about my housing program and everything when they know what I do. And you gonna charge me with home invasion and burglary on my own rental property and business? I haven't been able to talk to a judge yet to try to find out who house I did a home invasion on. Because I wanted to tell them that's my damn property. Excuse my language, LinkedIn. Those are my clients. They knew, the Eastern District knew the type of program I ran. But it was this one officer that kept coming for me. And I reported him to his supervisor. That's why he did what he did. So I'm going to tell y'all right now, Mr. Officer, if you're looking, the power of the paper and the ink pen. Because when he wrote those false charges, he lied to the judge and to the prosecutors. He freaking lied. And I seen it firsthand for myself, so you can't tell me. Even if I hear somebody else say certain things, I understand where they at. I experienced it for myself. And then this detective lady, they wanted me to come around and do an interview. She ended up creating 3 false charges and a police report. 2 police report on me. 2, not 1, but 2. So I couldn't make my 30-day trial. That's how she called herself indicting me. Because she asked me questions, James. She asked me a question, and I explained it to her. She asked me another question, and I explained it to her. She told me, she said, that's all you got to do is say yes or no. I said, no, I won't. If you ask anybody a question, listen for the answer. You don't tell them how to answer it. And she got mad at me. You ask the person a question. And that's all you got to do is say yes or no. Look what you're doing. You ask a question, then you're going to tell them how to answer the question. Who's trying to have control over the conversation? You. And don't even realize you're doing it. I tried. You ask big mouth bald black dude a question. You don't want to ask me a question and don't expect an answer. That's called communication. You ask a question. And if you want the answer, you want somebody to answer yes or no, you might as well say it for yourself. Yes or no. Because you want them to answer the way you want them to answer it. I didn't lose you, did I? I'm not the type of person you want to ask a question. Because I'm going to tell you have a seat. But I'm trying to get better with the yes or no. Because if you ask me a question and I got away, you ask a question, I'm explaining it. That's just where my mind goes. Well, I need you to just say yes or no. Well, I don't want to say nothing. How you like that one? Or how you like if I say maybe? I might start using that one. When you ask a person a question, then you're going to turn around and say, that's all you got to do is say yes or no. That's too simple. What's up, Steve? Kidney doctor. Kidney doctor. You know, I went to a kidney doctor the other day. My kidney doing okay. They just wanted to make sure, Steve. It made me think about you. Now, since Steve brought his butt up here, it's 7. It's 7. I'm gonna hurt y'all. It's 7. I am. Hey, you know, you the first person popped in my head, Steve. And basically, what I'm trying to say too, you know, because of the operation and all of that, and they checking my blood and everything, and then being a diabetic, Steve, being a diabetic, my biggest thing right now, Steve, being a diabetic for over 35 years, I know my organs. So I'm making sure I stay on top of that. You get me, Steve? I done made the appointment for my eye doctor and stuff, and you know, stay on point. I'm down to 190 pounds, Steve. If I buy that, Steve, I was thinking about this. If I buy that coffee, Rise, yup. I know, but it's doing pretty well though. It's doing pretty good, and they checking the liver and all that too. But look, Steve, I was thinking about that Rise coffee, right? I'm already at 190 pounds. I said if I buy that Rise coffee, the Rise coffee, it will. Cause it don't really do nothing from what I get. It just flushes, you know. So I'm looking at, if I buy it, family, I'm at 190. I'll probably be down about 185. Oh, Steve. Steve said, yeah. He done wrote books, y'all. He done wrote books. He's a kidney nurse, right? And he done wrote books about, you know, I ain't gonna go too deep. But I used to deliver equipment or products to the dialysis places. Now, I'm trying to watch it because Steve is familiar by him being a kidney nurse with a lot of that. And he spoke a lot on, what's up, BMore? And he spoke a lot on it too. You know, because certain things that they call themselves doing to help us can cause more harm. Steve and BMore banner. It's the ingredients. That's why I said I can't, certain things I can't, because we used to deliver that product. Pallets. And BMore banner, he does a talk show too on TikTok. Steve, the kidney nurse, he does a live stream too, but his profession is basically, you know, helping people that might have kidney issues, stuff like that. Steve interviewed me one day on his show, James. He called me the most controversial man in Baltimore City. He introduced me as the most controversial man in Baltimore City. And you know what? I loved it. Because when Steve said that, Steve, when you made that statement that Steve Copeland is the most controversial man in Baltimore City, a BMore banner, that was his way of saying that black man right there don't take no, he ain't no goddamn gonna joke. He don't play when it comes to the people. And when I met Lady J, Steve, because of my big mouth and everything, family, Lady J said, I just couldn't wait to meet you. Do you know you are considered as the most hated man in Baltimore City? I said, what? I was like, what? I'm telling you, hey, Steve, I be honest, I tried to calm down a lot. That's why when they were talking about Pastor Smith, right, talking about how he was coming for Brandon Scott, I said, I remember them days. I remember them days because I used to come hard. What you say, Steve? Yeah. Steve said that was during the crab time. And you know what, Steve? As a human rights advocate, right, I went down there to help the black people that was dealing with the racism. But guess what? The people that was down there didn't realize it. And the sad part about it, Steve, I knew most of them. I knew just about everybody that was down there from the inner city. But see, when I went as being a part of Communities United, right, and we fight for the democracy of the black people, they didn't realize why I was there. So I became Uncle Ruckus. I became Porch Igro. Like, what the hell is that? What the freak? Excuse me, family. What is a porch? And I looked it up, and it was an elderly on a porch in a swing. I said, okay, yes, I am. Yes, I am, because I like porches with swings. I'm going to tell y'all, Baltimore City, y'all gave me some horrible names. Y'all gave me some horrible names. Not realizing being a human, well, I want to move the human rights part of it right out the way. But being a civil rights advocate, being a part of Communities United, I went down there to try to find out, was they actually discriminating against the blacks? That's what we got to do, Steve. And a lot of people didn't understand it. I don't want to mention no other names, right? But man, they gave me all kinds of names. And Steve introduced me as, talking with him, the most controversial man in Baltimore City. I told Ricky Vaughn, and you know Ricky Vaughn was one of the main ones. Ricky Vaughn was like a son to me. He still is, because I love the stuff he do. Don't get it wrong. I said, Ricky, you need to stop, because you got restaurants and stuff. You don't want nobody putting nothing bad out on you. You got to stop, bro. They are business people. You are business people. So I was trying to back him down too. And he said, and me and him got into it. I was help promoting him being the mayor and everything, invited him out to our little programs we was having. Me and Chef and Claudia and all of us. But look, that's why, Steve, I'm not knocking nobody. Yeah, he got locked up. When what's your name pressed charges on me, and I had to turn myself in. Said I was sitting in the crab house with a pew-pew. You remember that? And I turned myself in. But it was, she ain't realized me and Connor, Sergeant Connors was talking, because we were trying to keep control down there, right? Oh, Kelly Vaughn went and pressed charges on me. I was in the news and everything. You ain't see it. This guy from Parkville. Now I'm a protester. We do protests. We do rallies. The same thing they was doing, but what we do, we come in, we make our point, and we go. We didn't stay down there no 200 and something days having cookouts and stuff. That's not professional. We go in, make our point, then we leave. I thought you knew, Candy. Right. That's why I said all of them. I'm going to say this. Candy, during that time, people was getting paid to go into certain areas and start a bunch of bull crap. So how I know? Because Larry and them told me. Somebody got money. And they got mad because when that person got that money from a certain group that matters, catch the hint. When they got that money, they didn't give them none of that money. So they got mad. And they started talking about it. I thought you knew, Candy. They got paid. Kimberly Klasick lived right on the other side of that. But I haven't paid too much attention to him. But I've been seeing some of his stuff. And I think with his daughter, I seen one where it looked like they was cutting grass somewhere. But eventually, Candy, eventually what happens, right? When we start out doing certain things and coming a certain way, and we see our wrongs, just let me say that, we'll straighten it out. And that's what he's trying to do now. And he's trying to clean back up his name. See, one thing about Steve Copeland, and I'll tell y'all, if you want to know anything about me, That's all you gotta do is look at my lives. That's all you gotta do is call me. If you want to know something about Steve Copeland, call me. But if you rather listen to what other people got to say, then do what you got to do. My number is on Google. You know what? I ain't even trying. I ain't little Candy. I ain't even trying to connect where they at because I noticed none of them come my way. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Because I kind of wonder how they doing, the misfits. But I'm gonna tell y'all, be honest with y'all. When I was with all of that, I was having a nice time. But then after a while, you start saying stuff and you like, nah, that's okay. What Mike? I'm trying to think what Mike. But I have to stick to what I was called to do. And I'm not being smart to nobody, right? When I was around on Luzerne, Candy, all the people that I was dealing with, nonprofits and all of that, it was like God shut that door. Boom. He moved them out my life. I still respect them. Don't get it wrong, because I know y'all looking. My goal is helping people, not to rob and take from people. The clients that I mess with, family, most of them get SSI, SSDI, or they get money from DSS. The ones that get SSI, y'all know they can't afford a rent for around about 1,000 or two. So my goal is to get them in Section 8, low income housing, so they can afford to live in a decent place, even though they only get a little bit of money. It's getting them in. Rather, they on SSI, SSDI. Now, when you have a mother with children and she only get a certain amount, my goal is to fix it where she can get into a career-minded job. So we meeting you at the level of where you at. So say like if you making $15 an hour, I'm gonna use that as an example because I helped them get that bill passed. But I know you got 5 kids, you can't live off of that like that. You struggling. The goal is to get you into a low income place. If you have 5 kids, at least get you into 4 bedrooms. Right? And it all depends on the age, because we might can do 3. In a decent place. Now we got to get you with Section 8 again. In the low income housing programs, where they will go at least by 30% of your income. This is how the housing program I run work. Because I know that mother and the father is not basically helping her financially, is to help her move forward financially where she's not struggling as much. Or she don't have to rely on DSS money. She might, if she got 5 kids now, and if she making at least $60,000, $70,000 a year, that's the goal, is to help them get up like that. To get them out of that poverty range. In poverty. Poverty. Poor community. Catch what I'm saying? below the poverty rate. And in Baltimore City, I think 40,000 is below the poverty rate, right? 40,000 might be good for somebody, maybe with one child or something. But if you're a woman with about 5 kids and we talking, because I'm doing my interview intake, right? And you say, Mr. Steve, I want to get into cosmetology school. I said that earlier. Mr. Steve, I want to get into nursing. Do y'all know it's a lot of programs out there? Come on, please. Trying to get my mind right. Lisa Pierce has a workforce development program. So she helps a lot of people move forward career-wise. The Food Project does a lot of great work down in the community off of Payson. She ended up getting that whole building, the recreation center. And her goal is to turn the top part into like a shelter. I seen a line of people down there working on getting their learner's permit. I went down there to talk with her because of my housing program. My thing is, from listening to her name gonna pop in my head in a little bit. Most of the people she deal with can't afford no more than $500 a month. This way your housing program coming at again. I teamed up with the Salvation Army. I'm only saying this, family, because a lot of us run off at our mouths about what the community need and all this type of stuff. We already know it. So you have to get out there. If you got to get with the director of homeless services, if you got to get with the director of HUD housing, 9 times out of 10, you're going to talk with supervisors and managers and stuff like that in the process. My thing is to go straight to the director. I need vouchers. What other programs, housing programs y'all have? My daughter was telling me that they have programs for homeless individuals as well, for housing. I'm just one individual. I'm just one. That's why I try to tell y'all I need y'all help. I'm just one individual. In order for us to do some of the stuff that Sam was talking about, we have to come together as a collective. I'm getting sick and tired of running off in my mouth about certain things. And people know what needs to be done, but they rather not invest. Some of them, not everybody now. I need y'all. I had to back up. I got Coco that does housing. I got Marlo that does housing for returning citizens. I love the work that Janice is doing. working with returning citizens, adults. And then I found out she worked with the youth as well. But the goal is getting them into a place, getting them into the working field. That's how I met Janet Graham, for the work that she do in the community. Marlo Hargrove, Charles Carver. It's a lot more of them, y'all. I'm just trying to get some names. I'm proud of them. But now keep in mind, I'm right here. They right there. They over here. They over here. So I know, for one, that they are there, right? But sometimes doing this, I know what they doing there, but we need others that have great, wonderful programs. Reach out to me. If I got to give me a whole book this thick to put your name, your number, your address, your location, what you specialize in, and all of that, so when I get on here to run off in my big mouth, I can talk about your program. I can talk about the area you in. Right there on North in Utah. Such and such is there for you to go get the proper help that you need. Cherie Rogers, every Tuesday, giving out food. Pallets. So that means somebody bringing pallets of stuff to drop it off. They donations. We, ours, us. And Valerie, don't hurt me. Hugs, don't pew pew. Lisa Moloch. Come on, I'm just telling you about people I know in Baltimore City doing great work. But guess what? When I say I'm one, basically I'm the mouthpiece. You get me? And look, they might, no, I don't think so. I was going to say they might kick my butt, right? But that's my way of commercializing what they're doing. Mayo, I love you, bro. I'm proud of your work. Senator Corey McCray, proud of you, bro. Look, they act, wait a minute. They deal with our younger people. Senator Corey McCray, I'm proud of you. Sean Stanton, if I pronounce your last name wrong, big uncle, apologize. I watch these people work with the youth. I watch these people go to schools. I watch these people do seminars. But it's giving back to the community. I'm so daggone proud of them. How did I get to know them? From getting involved in the community. Congratulations, Sean, because you won your seat, for the second time for the House of Delegates. One busy man. A very, very, very busy man. Mayo, family man. Look, wait a minute, Mayo, I don't know his age group, but guess what? My age group with the teenagers are 13 to 19. But now, mind you, that's why I'm looking to open up a multi-purpose center. But this was somebody shared with me a long time ago, which is true. She said, rather than reinventing the wheel, just go to these centers and start them here, there, which I got them. I got that. It's nothing like your own. You get it? I just left the building. Had everything in that building. Had an area for somebody to come in and plant stuff and grow stuff and all that. Get ready to put a playground in there for our children. I was dealing with some people, and some people, it's like people come up against you. I didn't want to say that, but it happens. But it taught me a lot. So it's not to be mad, because you learn from you know, when things just fold, you learn from this not to do over here. You get it? So that's why I'm so proud. I'm really, really proud. And for a lot of y'all, it might not believe this. Baltimore City is doing a lot better than what we give it credit for. I can say that myself. I'm so freaking proud of the work. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Get your butt back up here. Why would you slide? Get up here. Started sliding on me. Now, I'm going to say this again. I am so proud of the work we out us. I know Safe Street's been going through hell lately. I'm proud of the work that the ones that's really into it that's doing it. It's always a bad apple in the group. You get it? But I can tell y'all personally from this big mouth bald head black dude that used to argue a lot with our politicians, with our law enforcement, because I was feeling like they wasn't doing a greater job. I say greater. But guess what I realized too, family? They can only do what they can. They can't be everywhere at one time. But it's us. And I'm gonna get ready to end this. I said that over an hour ago. What I started realizing, family, and I'm gonna go into my community organizer mode. Y'all know how we talk about the village? The village not gone. That's us. We're not practicing it. We're not laying down the rules. Do y'all know that hit me one day? I'm sure it hit me. It's like it's us who have to create programs, ways and means to slow a lot of this down. Now, I gotta watch certain language for TikTok, family. When I'm seeing young men now with the whoop, I'm like, what in the world? Where they get that from? How they able to get that now? Somebody somewhere is making it more available for them. Along with this too. I'm talking about the pew pew. Somebody somewhere is making it available. Now, I'm gonna say this. Lil Steve, and I know he don't mind. He's registered. He goes to the gun range. This what he do. Him, his mother, and his sister and him. I ain't know that till one day we was riding together. I knew Steve was going, and he got a long one. And he did some videos. I'm like, that thing going, I'm like, oh my God. And I got it in this. But this is what I told Lil Steve family. I said, I'm so, so, so proud of you. AJ and Anthony, y'all. The reason why I said I'm proud of Lil Steve, I was 15 and I had a 32. Mine wasn't registered. His is registered. You get it? I had a sawed off. Sawed off. I gotta watch the word for TikTok. Pew pew. rifle. I was young. Pew pews that long, that goes into the rifle with the colors and stuff. I'm a kid, but I was doing it illegally. I'm trying to get that word. I said, Steve, I'm so proud of you because you doing it the right way. Now, can you understand why that statement? Can an unhealthy parent raise healthy children? Now, look at how I used to live. I had to get my life together mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in order to raise healthy children. I became a foster care parent, kinship. I raised my nieces and nephews. I was taught from foster care as being a foster care provider. My goal was to become a private foster care provider and work with women them. So they was teaching me how to deal with troubled children. They wanted me to stop working as far as being a tractor trailer driver. I was the only black man in there with grandmothers, aunts, people that was becoming foster care providers. Grandmothers. Why do a grandmother have to raise their grandkids? They already raised their own kids. But now the grandmother is taking over. I'm the only black man sitting there with all these women. I became a foster care provider. With the housing program, I'm looking at the ones that's aging out of the system because we can get them into working and everything. Some of them are being kicked out with nowhere to go. Did y'all know that? I'm talking about our children. I don't have to do this, family. I was called. So when you look at me and you want to talk about me in a negative way, yeah, I'm a little bit different coming with stuff. The way your pastor might be, the way your preacher might be. I might come a little bit harder because when I come and the people that I'm dealing with, I want them to understand that's just how much I love them. I don't know you that well, but I want the best for you. The same way I was able to raise mine. Little Steve's goal is to be a professional soccer player. I watched my son graduate from school and went to college. I did not graduate. When my son graduated, I felt like that was me that finished school and then went on to college. I was proud like it was me. You get it? Like, God dang, boy. Y'all get it? This is what happens when you are a healthy, productive parent. I was going to say member of society, right? But this is what happened. Not only that, my girls, my youngest daughter got her bachelor's of art degree in criminal justice. She working in the law firm. Her daddy come from the streets. My oldest daughter is an LPN. I haven't talked with her in a couple of months now, and I text her and everything. But 9 times out of 10, because she in her own world. But the good part about it, I look at me and her mother. She got 2 kids and she doing the thing. I can't even tell you if the baby father helping her, but that don't matter. We told her well. Daddy here. Daddy here. That's all look, that's all I can say. Daddy here. Wait a minute, let me change that. Dad here. You need to call and talk to dad here. Because I start realizing I can't fix them. I can guide them to the professional help. I can encourage them and motivate them, but I can't fix them. I tried. So I'm sharing personal stuff. I tried. Mm-mm. But look, she's an LPN. Then I look at my two other daughters, which they my stepdaughters, right? They all live in a great life family. The 27-year-old, I call her Chinese. Her goal is to be a licensed daycare provider, and I told her go for it, right? Then she told me one day, she said, "Dad, I'm thinking about driving tractor trailers." I'm like, "Girl, go for it," because I know she's gonna make great money. You get me? But she one of them Chinese ones, right? She does look. She's a teacher's aide and all that. I said, "Girl, you got about 20 goddamn going jobs." She just do a little bit of everything in the process of her studying to get her daycare provider's license. I'm so proud of her. And she got a 2-year-old. So the reason why I'm saying that, family, at 64 years old, watch this. Retired tractor trailer driver, watch this. Started his own LLC, watch this. Housing program, watch this. Now I'm at the point where I could sit back and look over the family. I'm like, God, it takes me back to them family gatherings, and we see the elderlies on the porch in the rocking chair. Look at this right here. Look at this. Can y'all see? Look, and can cross his legs and look over at his family and say, "Thank you, God." Guess what? None of them. Excuse me, TikTok. Shoot dope. Shoot cane. Get high like we did. That generational curse. Listen to what I'm saying. That generational curse is broken. I was sitting in here one day. I'm looking at my nieces that I raised, my nephews that I raised, all of them living in counties in very conservative areas, right? All of them doing good for themselves. And I'm blown. And I looked at it and I realized we raised them very well. If your life is full of chaos, confusion, mayhem, if you don't have no structure in your life, if you have not learned how, and these are spiritual morals, values, and principles, to love, to have compassion, kindness, gentleness, all of this in your spirit. Here, look what I'm doing here. Here. It got to be in here. If it's not in you, as a loving, caring, kind, considerate person, as a warm, sensitive man. See, I know who I am. And women, y'all should know too. Because of what I have inside of me, love and compassion, the goal, give it back. I can only give you what's there. If I say I love you, it's like I'm saying I love me. I'm only saying I love you because I love me. I'm only saying I want the best for you because, God dang it, I want the best for me. If a person with a ninth grade education did truck driving, was able to put my children, me and my wife and I now, me and my wife, was able to put them through college. Ninth grade. My vocabulary is not real extensive, you get me? So I have to keep it simple. Stop making it complicated. 1 and 1 is actually 11. Because I say 1 and 1 is 2 ones. I didn't say 1 plus 1. You know, I had to pay attention to little stuff like that. 1 and 1 is 2. 1 and 1. It could be just 1 and 1. It could be 1 and 1, which is 11. Then if we do 1 plus 1, it'll equal to 2. See, little stuff like that, some of us don't pay attention to. I was the type of person, right now, understand this. Anything you want out of life, the house, the car, the jewelry, the clothes, you work for them and you buy them. You know why? Because I like to dress nice. I like to look nice and all that stuff. And my daughter drives my truck, which I want to get a newer one. I don't know if I want to get that to her or not. But I was thinking about trading it in for a newer one. So her and my granddaughter can ride around and be more comfortable too. I'm cool. I must needed to talk today. Because this been 2 hours and a half. So I must needed to talk. Somebody somewhere needed to hear what I had to say. Not only that, myself. All right, Mr. Copeland over here. I'll take you out of there. I was streaming on my other thing where they could see me over there. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Now, anything I do, it's all about recovery. Okay? It's all about helping people to grow. I'm looking on my other um I was just looking at my kids and I'm responding to this prompt actually. This prompt. Bring your butt back. Thank y'all. Seriously, thank y'all. Unhealthy parents raising healthy children. I guess this topic, something that needed to be talked about. I was on another platform with a bunch of grown people. And I was listening to them. And they sounded like they just don't know what to do. But they was talking about basically the children that's being rude. And y'all know they passed a law where you can't beat them or something like that because it'll go into that abuse mode. And I shared with them how one time I went to beat, at that time she was 10, but she ran away from me and I couldn't, I tried to catch her, I couldn't, I was gonna beat that butt because she ran off of her mouth. And I told the police that I was gonna beat her. And he told me, he said, you know, I can lock you up. And I said, you know, I'd rather whoop her butt than to have you take her down. Pew pew her. And he turned around and walked away. Because my thing is, y'all gonna tell us what we can't do. But it's okay when y'all do it. How many people you know gonna speak out on stuff like that? If I have to discipline minds in that sense, so that they will, you know, not be too destructive. I want to use that word. The goal is to discipline them, not to beat them and hurt them and stuff like that. But my children will tell you, I would give them the 3 strikes, you out, when they disrespect elders and their teachers. And most of all, when I say adults and stuff like that, right? Even the polices. I'd rather pull out the belt than to have you pew pew them. Which one we gonna do? And that's what I throw in their face. And then on top of that, if they call y'all, because the parent, now if they being abused, that's a total different thing. But if it's just a punishment, a discipline, okay, I got you. That's to let them know you're not gonna keep tolerating their disrespecting of other people, what they doing. That's all we trying to do. Most of all, teaching them about respecting themselves. Because if they know how to respect themselves and love themselves, they're not going to be too disrespectful. See how I had to throw too disrespectful as much because they was taught better. That's why they don't like to hear my mouth. Then you want to turn around, which I can't blame it because I understand it. If you do the crime, you do the time. I remember Charles Hickey. I never was in those places. My brothers and them was there. Those facilities, juvenile facilities. And then they're around people that's supposed to teach them better. Half of them taking advantage of them in the facilities. Parents, never. You don't have to fight them. They're afraid to show your kids some love, some attention, and some affection. Now, let me share this one. If I have to discipline mine, I'm going to grab them afterwards and I'm going to explain to them because they already know why they get ready to get it. And then to let them know I love you. And I'm only doing this to discipline you about respecting others. Come for me. Okay? Because I understand y'all know the laws. Just like when that young man was running and got pew-pewed in his back. One thing too, if you don't properly educate our children, I'm talking about mainly the men, they will start doing criminal activities. Because when I came out in the 9th grade, at 21, I went and got my class A's. I drove, I stopped. I drove, I stopped. Because I was trying to make the faster money. It got to the point when I did get clean out of that life, I still thought about going back doing things and talk a good Gucci game. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord with the package on the street. God said, you go back to hurting my people, I'm going to hurt you. So I said, never mind. But I had to talk about it. I had to share that to get that out of him. Because you got a lot of people that will get clean and still practice old behaviors. That's not why God got me clean. So now, what I do, family, and I know y'all understand, because of my 12-step spiritual program or connection, and my biblical, talking about Bible, understanding scripture, but not just understanding scripture, walking in it, the solutions of it, the laws that the politicians pass for us to be obedient towards. That's all it is. Love y'all. Thank y'all, Baltimore City. James, I don't know if you still down there. Thanks for coming up, bro. James is in England. Sam, thanks, my Christian brother. He's a part of Dante Hickman's ministry. I'm proud of that man. You know, I'm proud of Dante, point blank. I'm proud of Bishop Jerome Stokes, CRL Ministry, Lady Marsha Stokes. I'm proud of that. Dr. Hall, Rodell Hall. I watch the work they come in the community and do. So for a lot of people that want to knock churches and pastors and stuff like that, now everybody not participating, I got that. But this one thing I could say about the Church of the Redeemed. That's one thing I could say about Dante Hickman. That's one thing I could say about Pastor Hathaway. I watch what they actually do. I watch their actions that matches their words. Building back up in the Black community. Strengthen the community. A new BMore City. Stephen Copeland Jr., Sports and Talents. Creating solutions for our youth. The ones that can sing, dance, act. I gotta say this man's name. God dang it. Maurice Thompson of Yonkers, New York. Thank you, brother. I seen him, Maurice Thompson, right? The name of his is Suave, Sauver. He has a program for our youth. I think his program normally deal with from maybe 16 up. He can get them into acting. He can get them into dancing. He can get them into music. When I seen him, he was in the community with Russell Simmons and DMX. I reached out to him because I was asking him, it was all about the youth now. I'm asking him, do he go to city to help put programs together? And he said no, but that was something they was doing up there in Yonkers, New York. I reached out to him again. Said, I need your help. Trying to create a program here in Baltimore City like yours. I need your help. He said, Mr. Copeland, I'll come and help you. We still stay in touch. Because my whole goal, family, was to get the housing program straight first and then move in that area. Because when I deal with mother with children, the children going through stuff too, you get me? So we got to get them the proper help too. To deal with a lot of those issues. I did not know DMX was a Copeland. DMX mother is a Copeland. When DMX was in Baltimore City, we was around each other, but I didn't remember him. My brother and them knew of him, but I didn't know him. I didn't pay attention. And I found out before he passed that we was family. It's all about the people. All right. BMore's Real Team Talk Show. Empowering the next generation of future leaders. If you are not parents, healthy, productive, and if you wonder why your children running around causing a bunch of confusion and mayhem in the community, please look at yourself. If it was mine out there in certain areas that we see our kids acting, I'm going to say unprofessional, I will get on their tails. I ain't afraid of mine. Lil Steve, if you looking at me, you can throw a thumb up. Sienna, if you looking at me, you can throw a thumb up. Tashir, if you looking at me, you can throw a thumb up. Sheena, Cherie, Ebony. The goal was we raised them a lot better than the way we was raised. But anyway, I had to get my head in order. You get it? My life. I was taught well, but it was about living them spiritual principles again, practicing them. What Barbara Jean taught me as a child. That's why I give it back. Okay. I love y'all. And I said I was only going to do from 7 to 8. I mean, 6 to 7. It's almost 9 o'clock. And I know for a fact, whatever I said out my mouth, somebody need to hear it. You get it? It ain't nobody but God. I'm telling you. I laugh, I kid, and I joke in this process. Sometimes I might hurt for whatever, but it's pushing stuff like that out. And for our men, because y'all know Monday is men's mental health. It's just it's just keeping it real, understanding that we go through stuff. We feel, but the goal is I don't want my brothers and sisters, y'all can take it too. I do not want my brothers to do anything that will put them behind those bars. You gotta yell, you gotta scream. I'm just saying to let the pressure out, stress out, right? Pressure, pressure, pressure. Do it, but look, don't do nothing with it criminally, where you would end up behind bars. I'm telling y'all. That's why I do what I do with the men too, because I know we hurt, and sometimes we like, I'm okay, I'm okay. No, you're not. Yeah, I'm okay, and respect that. See, I understand that because I sponsor men, I sponsor women, and I didn't realize family until it was brought to my attention because of my housing program. The whole goal is helping everybody that I deal with if their life is spiraling out of control, is to help them gain control back over their lives. Tanya Flowers was the one that said, Steve, you know what you are? I'm just the type of man that like to help people. She said, you are a life coach. I'm like, huh? And I looked it up in everything I do in helping people rebuild a life that's worth living. I'm considered as a life coach. I could have went and became a certified life coach. But as a person who sponsor people, I want to take you inside of yourself to deal with those problems or issues that's going on inside that's making you act destructive on the outside. So we got to look at it from, as far as you can remember, childhood, childhood stories, read between the lines, childhood experiences, read between the lines. A lot of that is what's causing us because we haven't dealt with those issues in the here and now, or we haven't dealt with those issues throughout the years. Some of us have accepted the fact whatever happened, happened, and accept it. And we're moving on in a healthy, productive way. But we still have a wall up because, we've been hurt. So it's like, we ain't gonna let people too close to us, blah, 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 blah. You get it? My goal is to help you understand whatever happened in the past. You got to feel forgiveness in your spirit, acceptance to move on with your life. We can't change it, but we have to understand whatever happened and how we feel. I had to learn to forgive myself more than anything else. I had to learn to love myself. I had to learn to be honest with myself, BMore. You get it? I had to learn to love Steve. I had to learn it. I had to teach mine. The men that I sponsor, the women that I sponsor, the mothers that come into my housing program. I'm like dad. I'm like big uncle. But then I had to realize, right, they're not my daughters. They're not my kids. But I'll take them on like they mine. Yeah, I say I got to back up something. Because I want the best. Their children become my grandkids. I got to remind myself, they're your clients, Mr. Copeland. They're not your children. And then it's work that they got to do. They the ones have to do the work to turn their lives around. The Latanya D. Copeland House of Hope strengthen the community. We only provide the professional services. That's why I said I need y'all. I can't do this by myself. And it's so many of y'all that have programs that y'all need. I'm talking about y'all LinkedIn, that y'all need to come here and tell people where you at and the work that you're doing. That's how you get clients. And y'all already know that, right? I just provide temporary housing to permanent. So I deal with other people that does the same. And I deal with the landlords, right? Who I don't want them to use your background against you. Because they can use it to discriminate against you, mainly if you have a lot of evictions. That shows them you're not a real responsible person. Then if you got a horrible criminal background, they might use that against you. Because if you're in an apartment complex or something like that, you're dealing with other people. They don't want you to come in and start acting violently towards other people. Me and my partner was talking about that the other day, about people with certain psychological issues. And one guy that I had in my housing program, I was trying to get him in a more structured program because mine's independent. He got to the point he wasn't taking his meds. So he started acting out a certain way. So I had to call the popo to come and help me. And every time I called the popo to come and help me, the popo turned around on me and made me feel like I was the problem. But eventually, I had to run downtown and get emergency petition for this person. They sent the emergency petition to the police district. Now they got to come and get that individual and take him to get help. The judge told me twice, Mr. Copeland, you're not supposed to be here. Once you called them to tell them what's what, and they know what type of program you're running, they supposed to took that individual to get psychiatric treatment. I said, Your Honor, I know. I read it up on their website. So they're going to tell you, we can't do this, we can't do that. Yes, you can, because eventually you're going to do it anyway. It's just you don't want to do the paperwork. And I went twice. And the judge I went to told me twice I wasn't supposed to came down there. But the police told me the judge was wrong. I said, no, she wasn't, because it's on y'all website. Told me what to do from y'all website. And eventually that same officer that I was arguing with created 14 charges on me. Now, because of that, I know every police in Baltimore City is not mean and nasty. I know every detective in Baltimore City is not mean and nasty. But those that use their power to control or oppress people, you make the rest of them look bad. That's all I could say with that. I know it's not everybody. Thank y'all. This is like therapy for me too. And this is what I look at, right? When I talk, is to help people understand it's okay. If I can freely open up and talk about like life, you can too. I don't want you to be afraid. I don't want you to live your life like with that wall built up. The wall of protection, we do that. The wall of protection is built, right? Because we've been hurt and I don't want you too close to me. I hope y'all understand. If you're not healthy parents, you can't give it back. You have to get healthy. Thank you. And I'm looking at my children. Thank y'all that y'all not a part of this chaos and confusion that I see with some of our youth. It's not all. They need guidance too. And my kids are an example. I try to get them to come up and talk when I'm on this right here. They not as open as their father. I see my nieces coming through. I be like, come on up, talk a little bit, because I want to brag about them. But to brag about them is only to encourage that if they can do it, you can do it too. You get it? Love y'all. I got to make my little clips. So I love y'all, Baltimore City, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. James, I know you said you over in England. He's on my YouTube page commenting. So I thank you, James. Follow family, share. Anytime I'm gonna say you want recovery, my thing is recovery. Recovering from a helpless and a hopeless state of mind. Hey, TT, baby. All right, family. Big Unk out. This gonna get very clear.